Namaste to all the students. I, JVN Dr. Ekta Rana, Assistant Professor of English in Faculty of Education and Methodology. I welcome you in the lecture of English Literature, that is Introduction to English Literature. Today we will continue with types of literature as we have discussed in previous lecture. Today we will continue with it. The Greeks thought of history as one of the seven arts, inspired by the goddess, the muse Clio. All of the world's classic surveys of history can stand as novel examples of the art of literature, but most historical works and studies today are not written primarily with literary excellence in mind, though they may possess it as it were by accident. The essay was once written deliberately by a piece of literature. Its subject matter was comparatively minor importance. Okay. Today, most essays are written as expository informative journalism. Although there are still essayists in the great tradition who think of themselves as artists. Now, as in the past, some of the greatest essayists are critics of literature, drama, and the arts. Some personal documents like memoirs, diaries, letters, autobiographies rank among the world's greatest literature. And some examples of this biographical literature were written with posterity in mind, others with no thought of their being read by anyone but the writer. Some are in a highly polished literary style. Others, couched in a privately evolved language, win their standing as literature because of their cogence, insight, depth, and scope. Then, many works of philosophy are classed as literature, like the dialogues, which is written by the Plato in 4th century BC, are written with great narrative skill and in the finest prose. Then comes the meditation of the 2nd century by Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius. It is a collection of apparently random thoughts, and the Greek in which they are written is eccentric. Okay. Both are classed as literature, while the speculations of other philosophers, ancient and modern, are not. Certain scientific works endure as literature long after their scientific content has become outdated. It is particularly true of books of natural history, where the element of personal observation is of special importance. An excellent example is Gilbert White's Natural History and Antiquities of Salvon. Then oratory, the art of persuasion, was long considered a great literary art. The oratory of the American Indian, for instance, is famous, while in the classical Greece, Polymnia was the muse sacred to poetry and oratory. Rome's great orator Cicero was to have a decisive influence on the development of English prose style. Abraham Lincoln's Gettysburg Address is known to very American childhood. Now, today, however, oratory is more usually thought of a great craft than as an art. Most critics would not admit advertising, copywriting, purely commercial fictions, or cinema and television scripts as accepted forms of literary expression, although others would hotly dispute their exclusion. Okay. Then the test in individual cases would seem to be one of enduring satisfaction, and of course, truth. Indeed, it becomes more and more difficult to categorize literature, for in modern civilization, words are everywhere. Man is subject to a continuous flood of communication, isn't it? Most of it is fugitive, but here and there in high level journalism, in televisions, in cinemas, in commercial fiction, in westerns and detective stories, and in plain expository prose, some writings, almost by accident, achieves an aesthetic satisfaction, a depth and relevance that entitle it to stand with other examples of art of literature. Okay, thank you for watching.